you realize that like pretty much every Steven Seagal movie was a vanity project, and he didn't direct any of them except for Fire Down Below.
Which was definitely his best work.
I will say this about him in that movie: there is a myriad of jackets that he wears that are like you're like, wow, you got a leather jacket on. Wow, now it's a brown leather jacket with tassels.
Yeah, with fucking
Wow,
tassels.
like now he's playing guitar and he's got a totally different jacket on. Like the scene, like the scene almost cuts to like him again, and he's wearing a different jacket each time. Like
I just really think it's important that I have a leather jacket.
The jacket wardrobe.
so, yeah,
Was out of control.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We
that
were
part of the budget.
We were shooting Fire Down Below, and we spent $50,000 on 5 leather jackets and stunt doubles for the leather jackets.
Yeah, and then apparently at the time, Steve, the movie itself was kind of like an environmentalism, like, hey, oil companies are bad and they're destroying Alaska and the native lands, so I blew up everything.
Yeah,
and it's
so,
like, you know,
so
like,
I destroyed them.
so like now nobody has jobs, and then you burn down like, you know, not half the state. It's a pretty big place, but you get the idea. It's one of those things like at the end of the movie, there's a bit where he's actually giving a speech to like I guess the UN or something, although they're all in like folding chairs in a small conference room.
It's an AA meeting that they just crashed, and we're like, listen, if you stick around for 45 minutes while we film this, we'll give you some more free coffee,
free cigarettes if you guys just stick around and stay quiet. So he gives like a speech about the environment, and it actually, when you really if you like break it down and you listen to like what he says, you're like, that's actually pretty profound. It lasts like all of 30 seconds, and it's right at the end. It's right as the credits are starting to roll, and it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize that the environment, the EPA, their hands were tied as much as they were, the fines, blah blah blah, and then come to find out, that speech is actually like over 13 minutes long. And the producers had to cut him off. Like he like gave his whole speech, and he's like, "We're just going to leave that in there for the credits." And they're like, "No."
No, we're not, Stephen. We're not.
Yeah,
this will be the last time that you're played on anything that isn't direct to DVD, even after DVD is no longer a viable technology.
So what makes this even better is because this is like another one of Seagal's vanity projects, and because he was the director on it. Theoretically, there is a director's cut of this movie.
Oh my god, it's 5 hours long. And it's mostly him just doing rhythm and blues guitar music, and oh my god. And running and running. And you know that run that he has with his right arm where the right arm makes circles? He doesn't like run with his like arm swinging back and forth. He always runs with like his arms making circles in the air in front of him like he's a helicopter.
Yeah, his right wrist is like limp when he runs. It's weird, and his elbow stays in place.
Yeah.
So he locks his elbow against his body, and then that arm just kind of flails. His right arm just flails, and his left arm moves mostly normal.
You know how to run, right?
I told you, yeah. That must have been like the discussion. Hey, Steve, we're gonna go wind that one back up. I know this is your first movie, but you know how to run, right? Like this isn't like your first
before,
time,
right?
Yeah, I've been running since I was trained in Japan by Master Yoshitoshi.
I've been running since I've been training and running since for like 20 years.
I've been running since I grew this ponytail behind my head.
So yeah,
thousands and thousands of
yeah, that's like probably the best line right there for Steven Seagal. You've run before,
Stephen. You've cooked like Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, I've been cooking like Gordon Ramsay for 20,000 hours.
Oh God, everything about everything like dogs, everything. He's so that man. Anyway, so imagine just now I'm thinking about like what a vanity project for Steven Seagal would truly look like, and it's pretty much Fire Down Below, but it's there's just like the movie is so nonsensical. I'm an oil engineer. He's also a special forces, former CIA, trained to use every kind of explosive and gun in existence. I ride horses.
Could you imagine?
Also, play guitar.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, I'm not. Wait, what?
Michael Scott's movie.
God.
Could you imagine like you're in a relationship with Steven Seagal and
no.
you're the woman and you're like, Steven, I want to role play tonight, and he's like, okay, but I'm gonna be special forces. I ride a horse, and I have to do a guitar solo, and also I'm really good at the harmonica.
Yeah, actually, Steve, I was just thinking maybe you could pretend to be a black guy. I can do that. What's up, cuz? You want some getting down?
Oh my God, he does that.
He does that. Yeah.
Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever-maddening society. With your host, Will, and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's season 4, episode 15. I'm sleepy. I had a late night last night. We're going to talk about that a little ways into the show. But yeah, season 4, episode 15. It's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about some sobriety stuff. We're going to talk about some gaming stuff. We're just going to have a gaming ramble, I think, tonight. Just a fun, free-form ramble where we'll all, actually, each other based on gaming shit. So that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Joining me tonight, during high school, he was voted most likely to end up as a furry. This was confirmed this past weekend when he was spotted in a friend's basement wearing cat paw mittens and a Chewbacca suit. He's our friend Steve, and we do have video footage. Hey, Steve.
That's a true story.
It's a fucking true story.
It's not even like... You're not even making shit up.
No.
I was indeed in a Chewbacca onesie with furry cat paws.
And it was glorious. It was so good.
I mean, it was better than the slightly, vaguely politically incorrect moment that we had.
Is it slightly politically incorrect if you're... are we allowed to make fun of our own cultures?
It felt weird when I watched it back.
Oh, it felt weird watching it, and can I laugh at this as a white guy? I don't know if I can. You're Hispanic. You get to laugh at depictions of Hispanic people knowingly being goofy.
But definitely the furry thing happened.
Yeah, the furry thing definitely. Of course, now I'm going to get reports from, hey, listen, all right, you can't culturally appropriate furries, all right? If you're a furry, then you can make fun of furries. But if you're not a furry, maybe I'll just show them my pelt, the hair on my back. Maybe that'll be enough.
Work.
Maybe that'll be enough. Also joining us tonight, after the recent revelation that he had a hot dog-based fetish, he was invited to a local fair and hot dog eating contest. He declined the invitation, saying he shouldn't be in that kind of situation around families. He's our friend Ticky.
Yeah, and you know that they have this new thing right now where they take a hot dog and they put a straw through it, and then you just have a hot dog straw, it's got a hole, and then it's just straw, but it's a hot dog.
Saw a guy do that with a beer.
I saw a woman do that in a movie once.
It sounds awful.
I don't know. I didn't actually see the insertion of the straw, but the guy that it was attached to certainly seemed happy. Get it?
Yeah.
It was a wiener.
No, explaining your jokes is always better.
It's always better. It works for me. My wife right now is laughing. I can hear it now. Baby, you laughing? Good. I'm glad in the future that you're laughing.
I'm gonna if that's the metric we're using right now, I'm gonna be yeah, well, my girlfriend's talking about how giant my penis is. Hey, sweetie, how big is my penis? Huge, right? Yeah.
Really big.
Yeah. We're just gonna basically make up
really
shit.
Really huge penis.
Yes. There's a whole. I have survey data of people who will talk about this.
You survey people on how big your penis is?
Excuse me. We need you to register to vote. Also, how big is my penis? Sir, this is a King Soopers parking lot, and those are Girl Scouts over there. I think that you should move along.
I just get the image of him, the people who stand outside the door. Hey, do you got a second?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's him, and he's there, and it's winter, so the Santa for the Salvation Army is out there with that fucking bell. And
come on. Let's be real. You don't do that kind of shit in winter because the cold air is going to make it smaller. So you do it in summer and spring.
I don't know if in shriveled format it's still pretty big, then I think you can write home to Mama about that sumbitch right there.
Yeah.
All right. That's how that goes. Hey fellas, how's it going? Steve, you first.
Steve, me first.
Yes, repeat back to me what I just told you. That's effective listening.
Yeah.
It bought us time.
Be an effective listener.
Things are good, man. I can't complain. I am about to celebrate 10 years of wonderful wedded bliss.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool.
You guys doing anything fun for it?
Money's a bit tight, so just kind of mostly low key.
Just
I'm
butt
going
stuff?
to make
Okay.
just some butt stuff. I'm going to make some linguine with clams.
Hmm.
Um,
So no butt stuff.
possibly a possibly a pear crisp. There's been a lot of
Ooh.
debate of
Ooh,
crisp
that sounds
versus
good.
cobbler.
The
Yeah,
crisp is that's just like with like oats on top and shit.
I feel like yeah, right. Like it's implicit
Yeah.
oats.
Yeah, I think oats are implicit in any kind of a baked crisp dish.
Yeah.
I would eat
So
that. I would eat that.
over the cobbler.
Um, yeah, I think so. I really love oats these days. Really loving them. I have overnight oats almost every morning for breakfast. They're delicious.
They are good.
And they're good for you. They're a healthy carb for those
Healthy
of you
carbs.
watching your shits and whatnot. Ticky, how the hell are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, just kind of blah lately, but okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Job search is still being a pain in the balls, huh?
It's yeah, like Friday I got so Thursday I'd had an interview. It was like a really technical interview. Went through it all, talked to the guy, got along really well,
Mm-hmm.
and answered all the technical questions he had. And then the next day I was like basically rejected, and I was like, what?
The
Why the hell
next
did?
day? Jesus.
Yeah, it was like, what happened? Like, is there any feedback? Is there any kind of explanation? Because because it really came out of left field. So anyway, that happened. That kind of brought me down a little bit for the weekend.
Ay, ay, ay.
I had some other things that went on too that were just problematic. But getting through the weekend and being able to do something about the problem, just search and continue to apply.
Yeah.
One of the other jobs I did talk to, though, I mean, so I think I talked to them Tuesday or Wednesday, and they basically they were like super pumped on me, and everything's cool there, but it could take 2 weeks for them to get back to me, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't have 2 weeks. I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I can wait, but I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
And the HR guy who's kind of in charge of the whole processing, he's on vacation until the 3rd. So I was like,
Ugh.
screw that guy too.
Man,
Be faster.
You can't even stalk that guy. Oh, that sucks.
No, he's on vacation.
It's on fucking vacay.
Also, he's in HR, so he understands what stalking is. So he would recognize it right
Stopping
away.
him on vacation might be the way to go.
Yeah, it might be. Like you show up at his place and they're like, "Listen, you need cybersecurity help." I'm your man, obviously.
That'd be it. Yeah,
I clearly found you.
Yeah,
buying a plane ticket, flying down to Orlando. I love Disney World. Like,
look, I made a droid.
yeah. Also made a lightsaber. It's really strong.
It's a really strong lightsaber.
You wouldn't want to get hit by this lightsaber. It's really powerful.
I've been working with lightsabers for like 27 years. Now I have to use a Seagal joke in the first in the fucking pre-run. I was gonna anyways because it made me laugh so much, but the fucking Seagal jokes, goddamn.
They're just it's like they write themselves.
They really kind of do.
I would like to point out though that your Seagal impression is starting to border on Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
True.
I think that there might be a little crossover there. Like,
I don't believe that there is.
I've been working with little boys for like 27 years.
That is.
But were he still alive, I'd like to see a remake of a Steven Seagal movie with Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would just like to see Steven Seagal dance the way that Michael Jackson danced.
I was on a ship.
Like Steven Seagal in his current pear-shaped body.
that's a dick move Thriller. To pears, man. That's not nice to pears.
Just shape so everybody knows what I'm talking about.
It's like
doing the lean.
It's like more of a
the
gourd.
Michael Jackson lean.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson lean. Well, you could probably do it considering he does the Steven Seagal waddle.
Well, he does the lean, but his tummy is big enough that it hits the wall before he falls all the way over. He is not in good shape. Dear Steven, this is me responding to your cry for help. Make some changes, buddy. Make some changes.
I don't want to sound like you don't want to sound. It's like look, dude. We know that you disrespected Van Damme back in the day, and that you were a real jerk to him. But
which is not cool, by the way. All right, the Belgian helicopter rules.
Van Damme still looks pretty good. He's still in incredible shape.
Yeah, he is.
He can still do the splits. So Yeah, maybe the
Yeah.
next time Seagal makes a movie where he sits down to fight, we don't all have to make jokes about how lazy he is.
Maybe Van Damme is just beyond it. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I'm living my best life. I'm okay. I'm
I don't
okay.
think that's. I think
Belgian
he's still
helicopter.
pretty angry. Belgian
Belgian
helicopter, though. Very
helicopter.
true. Very true.
Right there. Boom.
So back to me.
Back
I
to
also
Ticky.
back to me. I also found out that Honda is going to be resurrecting the CB750 as the Honda Hornet.
Oh.
And I found some specs and some pictures online,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh my god, I got to get a job so I can afford to buy.
Oh. Very cool, man.
So it looks like it's going to be a really cool reimagining of it. It's going to be more of a sports bike, but it's going to have the 4 inline cylinders up front. Got a wicked weird looking exhaust.
Is it
Um,
is it going to be more standard? Because the CB line is a pretty it's a
you mean
like
upright?
yeah sorry, Japanese
No.
standard bike, yeah.
It's going to be a forward lean like a sports bike, from what I can tell.
Honda CB 750. I want to see this Warlock.
2023.
Piss Warlock.
I want to see it.
Because it's only been released so far. Not really even released. They basically had it specced out in Sweden or something like that. So the article I was reading talked about the teething of the front and back sporks, kind of, or the front and back.
Oh, it's got the wide set handlebars like a standard.
Yeah, but the position of the foot pegs made me think that
Yeah.
it was more of a lean forward.
It might be, yeah. Yeah, because
But
like the CB, I know they've got the CB 500 and 350, and both of those are standard with the more sporty foot peg placement. So
yeah,
I'd be surprised if this wasn't going to be the same
so
thing.
it's
But
that,
yeah.
and it's gonna have 90 horsepower, which is pretty good for a 400-pound bike.
That's really good for a 400-pound bike. That's double what my bike has, and it's a 400-pound bike.
Jeez, really? I didn't realize your bike
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah, it's a single cylinder 650. It's got 45 horsepower. It's not a big bike.
Mine's wow. Mine's got my Magna from 1997 has got 84 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's stupid fast.
Well, I
It's
don't
irresponsibly fast.
it does
I
it
do
does highway
want
speeds.
I do need that speed. I'm like Maverick, and somebody else can be Goose. Have the need.
Yeah, see, here's the
the
thing
need for
though.
speed. High fives.
See, Ticky, when you're riding your bike and you're doing like 70 miles an hour or like 80 miles or whatever it is, you need to have like an actual like jet to make that fist pump thing work. On my little like 250 or my little 650, I can be going by and there can just be like a single engine, prop plane, and I'll do that, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you too, bro."
Yeah. So
Same
your
energy.
your same energy as a Cessna. Mine is a
100%.
fighter jet.
Yeah,
Got
100%. Yeah,
Got it.
so my opportunities to do the epic fist pump while I'm riding are like all the time. I gotta just do that. I can just do it. Whereas you have to be like, "Where's an F-22 when you need it?" Oh,
No. I do live right near Buckley, so
show off.
they do fighter jet training out of there.
No, explain the joke.
I've been flying fighter jets for like 50
I've been working
years.
with fighter jets for like 25 years.
I have thousands, if not millions, of hours on fighter jets.
I think we go from thousands to millions. like not thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. No. I've got 9,999 to 1 million hours with fighter jets.
Somewhere in there.
Oh God, he's
ballpark.
he's special, so special.
So
Oh,
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Motorcycle stuff and job stuff, basically.
gotcha. Well, the motorcycle stuff sounds exciting. The job stuff sounds daunting and frustrating.
It's both of those things.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That. Oy, I'd heart goes out to you, man. Sincerely,
Thanks.
it really does. I had so last night. I had a we have a small community on Twitch, and I'm really, really happy with that small community. It's getting more and more tight knit, which is good. We've done a few things to make things a little bit more official. Like the Discord server now has like paid for bots and a dedicated moderation team. That's very small, but it's it's coming along. And one of the people in the server who is struggling with alcohol and other addictions. So not just alcohol, but like a full-on rich tapestry of other things going on. Reached out yesterday and said that he was really, really struggling. And we got to do a call with him last night and spent about 45 minutes just talking him off a ledge, kind of, a relapse style ledge, not a metaphorical ledge, not a real one. And then ended up playing Destiny 2 with him to try to distract him. Say, hey, do you want to play? You want to play some game? Do you want to get some gaming in right now instead of like going back to whatever it was that was making it so that you were focusing on wanting to use? And we ended up staying up till way later than I normally would. Not in a, I wasn't resentful about this. This was important. This was something like, being there for people that are reaching out to you is so incredibly important. So I was not frustrated or irritated or anything like that. I was happy to be there. This is one of those moments where, the service aspects of helping other addicts is really, really important because you want that help to be there for you if you ever need it, right? But I ended up staying up really, really late and enjoyed the time, but didn't get very, very good sleep, and then having to be up early this morning with the kids and stuff. And then, so yeah, just long, kind of tired day. But this is one of those moments where the tools that we put in place is working. It's working. It's doing what it's designed to do, right? The fail safes are working as designed. We don't get frustrated or antsy when things go wrong. We get frustrated and antsy when the fail safes fail to save. And last night, seemingly everything that we did helped bring this guy back from the ledge. So pleased about that, but yeah, kind of a little low energy today, a little tired, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Speaking of places where I'm at, my name's Will. I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Ticky, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve. I'm not an alcoholic, but I've been really pondering why most depictions of ghosts have them wearing clothes. Like, that doesn't make sense. Because you don't wear, like, the same thing all the time, so why is it just like one? Like, why is there specific clothes? That doesn't make any sense. These clothes are not part of you.
If you're a soul, if like a ghost is a soul, why would you ever have underwear on? Like, I would never want to wear underwear.
Wouldn't it just be you? Wouldn't it just be like naked ghosts?
Yeah.
Shouldn't all ghosts be naked?
Every ghost should be naked.
This is kind of bothering me.
I get it. Now every time I see like a ghost or haunting story, I'm going to be like, should be naked.
Bullshit. Should be naked.
This is bullshit. This is completely inaccurate. And I will not stand for it.
I'm
writing a letter.
I think
Strongly worded, please.
I think the ghosts in like the night shirts are actually that way for an abstract image. So maybe you'll get like the head, some arms, but you won't get like an actual torso out of like say a vision of it or a sighting of it. But you're right. When somebody's like standing there, you're like, I get it. You're like a 1920s banker.
Yeah.
Ghost, right? Why do you have a briefcase? Like, why are you still saddled with that?
Why do you have fucking props?
Right?
Are you Carrot? Like, does Carrot Top in the afterlife have his entire trunk?
Now, it's understandable with Morley and Scrooge. Morley was like basically shackled by the chains, which are technically metaphors, but whatever. He's shackled by the weight of his deeds and dragging those chains around.
Why did he have the regular clothes? I get the shackles a little bit.
I thought he was wearing like a nightshirt. I think it depends on
why does he have a nightshirt?
Yeah, why does he have a nightshirt on?
Oh, I just talked about that.
An abstraction, yeah, I know, but it's not like I could see it if it was like a wraith-like kind of where it's not an actual nightshirt. Like it's got it's hemmed. It's fucking hemmed.
Well,
he has a poofball hat on.
Now that we're talking about that, let's just go and get right into like why is it when you play games like Diablo or other games where there's demons, they wear armor?
It's a really good question.
Because they don't want to get shot.
That doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. It's a demon.
It's a demon. It's an otherworldly being.
Yeah.
Physics don't even really apply to it. Maybe they don't want to get shot, but they're not wearing like bulletproof vests. They're wearing like, medieval style armor with like ridiculous shoulder pads.
It's true. giant, ridiculous shoulder
See,
pads that
so
make it hard
I
to
buy
go
demons
left or
wearing
right.
armor more than I buy ghosts having clothes.
Why do demons wear armor? That doesn't make any sense.
But why not? Like they could, is what I'm saying. Like maybe demons are like, they feel shame. I don't know. Maybe they're like, I gotta
Yeah,
cover up
that's
my
their
junk.
thing.
Yeah,
And-
that's it. That's it right there.
I'm just saying.
We don't want you humans seeing our demon junk or lack thereof.
Maybe they're weird
or
about
maybe it's something strange down there. We don't know.
But like
maybe it's just Steven
I feel
Seagal's
like a
face.
demon
They know that's
That'd
too
be
terrifying
that'd be
for
a
anybody.
really awful
as
crotch
more of
kinda.
a
I've
like
been working as a crotch for like 20
2000 years. No, I just like when it comes right down to it, why do these why is it that ethereal things? It's because that's the way that we portray them. That's the way that Hollywood portrays them. It has absolutely nothing to do with how they would actually look.
yeah, but like even in the people who claim that they're real, right? Oh, look at this picture. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
but
you
those
see a ghost
people
in the back.
those people are liars.
Wait,
Well,
do
obviously.
they sing the Nickelback song first?
Look
Which
at this
There it
photograph.
is.
I see
No,
a ghost in the back. I've done it. I don't know. I was gonna try to tie those together.
It would have
No.
worked. It would have worked.
It would have worked. I would have. I actually didn't recognize the song at all, and I probably would have bought it. I'd been like, Nickelback wrote a song about
Ghost hunting. Yeah, they've really fallen off.
weird.
They're on TLC.
I
ghost
did
hunting
not
now.
see that. I did not see that one. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. Did not see that coming. So yeah, if you actually kept going with it, Steve, I would have believed you.
I had to make a whole parody on the spot, right?
Yeah, you would have had to do it on the spot.
I'd
Be
love
like-
the. I'd
Be
love
like
the-
Wayne. Be like Wayne Brady, man. Make parodies and
Finish
improv on
the
the spot.
song,
Finish
Steve.
the fucking song, Steve.
Yeah. So
This
so
is good. So we had Steve Psy-op, and then
Yep,
then
already happened.
then we had Ticky's counter Psy-op,
yep.
and then I introduced the Nickelback Psy-op. Okay, good.
Psy-op.
Good.
Yep. So we have managed to screw this whole thing up pretty
Yeah,
well
yeah.
already. No, I don't know why ghosts are. I think they're portrayed like that because that's the way that people want to see them or expect it.
They just don't
But
want
yeah,
them to be
I
naked.
don't have a good reason. I don't have a good reason why they would be.
I'm
Like
going
I
with-
said, why are you wearing a bowler hat and carrying an umbrella? You're a ghost.
Yeah.
Like
Does it
neither one of
rain
those
on
things. Neither one of those things are going to help. Is it too sunny where you're at?
yeah.
Were you so attached to those in life?
I
Like,
have a
your bowler hat
parasol.
was your whole
And
identity.
And then that's the thing though.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the piece of clothing you're really attached to? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if it's me, you're going to see me in like a pair of like workout shorts and a Boba Fett t-shirt, and
What
like
if-
that's it.
And a leather
What if
jacket
the
with
clothes
tassels.
you were
And
attached
a
to- what if
leather
you're, like, your
jacket with
favorite-
tassels.
Your favorite
Just
thing was a
look at the-
jacket and like
Yeah,
work shorts.
But that's just it. Yeah, like what is like yeah, that's the other thing too. Like what if it was like seasonal? You're like, yeah, but in the summer I like to wear these shorts, but in the winter I wear this jacket. And you're like, well now you wear both. And you're like, son of a bitch, you look like an idiot.
If I come back, I'm wearing just a wool condom. That's it.
Just a wool condom.
Yeah, just a
That's
wool
gonna
condom.
itch
That's
like
I don't
gonna
think
be
you're
crazy.
gonna have the condom, which is my whole.
Yeah.
No, well, I'll make it out of
Central
merino.
thesis.
It'll just be merino.
Yeah, but yeah.
It'll tie my whole crotch together.
You know what the worst? You know what the dumbest part about all this is? Like I think about it, and I'm like, I'll be like that ghost that shows up, and everybody will know where I'm at all times because I wear flip flops. Like, step. Oh fuck, he's hiding in the walls again. Steps. They can't find me. At least this time he's wearing clothes.
I did like Judeo-Christian censorship is what pushes clothing onto ghosts. And I feel like that's an afterlife oppression that ghosts
I don't know
should
that
not
it's
stand for.
Judeo-Christian because like I feel like other depictions of ghosts they're all fucking wearing clothes.
I will argue this point though. People will say that odds are somebody's going to argue this. What you're buried in, that's what you'll come
So
back
it's
wearing.
just whatever you have on when you're dead.
It's not
That's
like,
right,
It's
that's-
not not what you had on when you died. What you're
When
buried.
you're buried in. That's why
What if you're
John
not
Wayne
buried?
Gacy. No, John Wayne Gacy is easy to pick out in a crowd because he's wearing a clown suit.
Yeah.
Him and
What
Ronald
if you're
McDonald.
cremated?
Yo, that's I don't
You're
know.
wearing an urn.
You're wearing it.
It's just your head
Fashionable.
popping out of an urn
They,
with
yeah,
like the arms and legs.
It's like the Futurama jar,
Yeah.
head
Yeah.
and jar.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God,
That's pretty
that's
much
funny.
what you wind up with. Yeah, it's pretty much what you wind up with. I think.
That's pretty
So
good.
anyway, so that explains Scientology. I'm really happy we got to talk about all of this.
Yeah, that's some. I know Tom Cruise right now is listening to that podcast,
Well,
going, you know
Thinking,
what?
now I
yep,
Yes, that
understand.
is what
yeah,
our
that
relationship with
that
the
does it right
afterlife
there.
is.
Yep, ghosts and volcanoes,
Mm,
also wearing clothes,
Bowlers
bowler
and
hats.
and umbrellas. Yep, 100%, 100%. So I have nothing to report as far as cravings this week. Any undue cravings. Uh, it was a pretty uneventful week as far as that sort of thing was concerned. I had a lot of I've just had so many cautionary tales thrown at me lately that every single time a thought would arise, it would immediately be turned back by no, this person just had a, you know, drug induced psychotic break. This person that I'm reading about, you know, this doctor who treats people with severe addiction problems. This person just had, you know, issues. Like it makes it really easy to have kind of perspective on all that kind of thing. When those are the images of addiction that are constantly played out in your head. So I don't have anything. I don't have anything to share as far as cravings or temptations or anything like that this week. Ticky, you got anything?
No, I've been, like I said, I've been kind of down, but I've been basically pushing myself to be okay with being boring, like just being okay with not a lot going on,
Yeah,
not a lot of activity, and that seems to be working for me right. Well, it's been working for me for a long time, but it's been working for me this week. I haven't had any real temptations or cravings
that's good.
um, to really speak of. So yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
yeah, lots of other problems, but uh,
Sure,
but
sure.
but drinking isn't one of them right now. That's kind of nice, kind of crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Thank God that's
Well,
off the laundry list for this week. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Steve, you got anything to share?
no, I don't think
Okay,
so.
okay. Cheers. So this week I want to talk about no shit there I was 17 years old at an AmpGuard event. And this was kind of back in the days when AmpGuard events were um, a little less daycare for those under 21, where everybody was drinking. Everybody, adults, the underage, everybody. It was all over the place. And I remember that all of the depictions of masculinity that I was hanging around at the time, you know, this is all dudes in their like mid to late 20s. And because I had very little in the way of sort of older brother or, you know, loving, guiding father style masculinity in my life, this group of friends that I was, you know, basically kind of pseudo adopted by became those sort of masculine figures. And not all of them were healthy figures in and of themselves. And the way that they engaged with alcohol directly informed how I began to engage with alcohol in context. Now I'm still, you know, I'm 17, 18 years old. I'm not able to go out and buy it myself, so it's not like I've got access to it through anything except for through this group of friends. But I think that there were a lot of seeds of how I engaged with alcohol, how I began to treat alcohol as a you know, not only a way to separate myself from my feelings, or separate myself from having to take accountability for my feelings, but also engaging in a type of bravado and machismo that was definitely, and I don't like using the term toxic because I think it gets overused, and I think that it's used as a tactic by people to shut down arguments. But instance, I feel that it's an actually appropriate way to say this was the type of toxic masculinity. Watching people that I looked up to treat alcohol like it was a dare, like it was a test of manhood. And if you didn't measure up, you were a bitch. And how incredibly damaging that was to my younger psyche, and how I would carry that lesson forward into the future. And then when it came time for me to take a critical eye at my use of alcohol, to not be able to see that use through any, solidly critical lens, it was always no, I can handle it. I'm a man, I can handle it. Ticky, what are your thoughts on toxic bravado and masculinity and drinking culture, especially here in the United States? What do you think, bud?
I I think that I spent my 20s doing exactly that. But I was probably more the example of it rather than being a victim of it.
See, I would actually disagree. I think that you saw, at one point in time in your life, you probably saw that and just perpetuated the cycle, right?
Yeah, but I perpetuated it like big time. Like, yeah, throughout my 20s, all throughout my 20s. Every time I was out drinking, if I was drinking with other friends, it was always pushing that boundary, always pushing them to drink more, myself to drink more.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, my roommate built that kegerator, which is a hilarious story in and of itself. But we had a kegerator in our house, and people would come on over all the time. My friends would come on over all the time. We'd hang out, drink, and I really would. I'd push that not. It was like party games. It was fun, but it was a lot of that. Now I do recall very specifically that certain times we'd hang out and play drinking games. There were certain games that we would play that I would actually place limits on what we could and couldn't do,
Mm-hmm.
in order to keep people from getting too drunk. But that was, that was a part of like me having some foresight.
Yeah.
But no, I think that when I was younger, I saw it. I definitely was around it. But one of my first drinking kind of experiences, really big ones, was with some friends from high school and some of their friends. And after that, it was just always hanging out with Russ and drinking with him.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just the way it was. It was just I don't know that I really consider it like toxic masculinity. I guess maybe I did kind of push other people to do things, but yeah.
Well, I guess the framing for that, because I really don't like the words toxic masculinity, but anytime I feel like peer pressure is used to enable bad behavior, and the method in which it is enacted is by challenging preconceived notions of specific gender strengths.
Then yeah, I was definitely engaging in that.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm saying that I think it's a cycle. I think that we see it. I think somebody before us sees it, and then they continue in the cycle, and then we see it, and then we continue the cycle, and then eventually, like, somebody's got to break the chain before it goes from, well, this happened to me, so it must be okay that it happens to the people that look up to me.
Could be.
And
yeah,
that chain's got to be broken at that point, right? I mean,
it's definitely, and I think that's kind of maybe that's where we're at now, right?
Yeah.
Now it's time to not do that anymore, and also recognize it and to like maybe even call it out for what it is, or have like that cautionary tale of, yeah, I used to do dumb stuff too, and
yeah,
I don't like the idea of being like that example. They're like, well, look what happened to me. So like, I know plenty of people who go, well, your life isn't that bad. And I'm like,
there are things that I had more that I could have done differently that I wish I'd kind of done
things
differently.
I would have done a lot differently.
Yeah. And that's okay.
But I agree. Yeah, it's breaking that chain it's very important.
So you've seen the movie Highlander, right? We've all seen the movie Highlander, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a character named Castigear. He was Connor McLeod's immortal friend.
Yep.
And there's a scene on the bridge. And they're talking about an alcohol that's in Castigear's flask. And Castigear offers it to Connor McLeod, and Connor goes, "No thanks, I'm okay." And Castigear says, "Oh, it's a little boom boom. Surely a big strong man like you isn't afraid of a little boom boom." Now, I can look at that and say that that's just two friends bantering. But I feel like there's steps that go beyond that. Like, I remember having boom boom parties when I was Fireball's roommate, where boom boom was made, and boom boom was Rose's lime juice, like a couple of splashes of it into a pint of vodka, and then you drank the pint of vodka. Like, that's not a good idea. Who thought that was a fucking good idea?
No, we did back then.
Obviously, we did it back then.
It wasn't our friends.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, there's a place where I feel like ribbing is okay, like that kind of like playful banter, and then like a sip of scotch is fine. But there's a place where like hazing happens in frat clubs, or in frat clubs. Did I just fucking say it?
You call it.
Tell me you didn't go to college, but without telling me you didn't go to college. Fraternities. There we go. Fraternal houses.
Hello, fellow frat people. Where is the frat club?
Where is the frat club? I'd like to go to that club, please.
Definitely not a narc.
Yeah, 100%, man. Fuck. Yeah. No, I gaffed that one. Good job, Williams. But yeah, and even as I'm saying all of this, there's a part of me that weeps a little bit for the death of the way that we felt in those moments, the moments of camaraderie, like when a young kid that, looked up to that group of older dudes, like followed through, and then took their punishment, their quote punishment the next day of being hungover. But there was a sense of camaraderie that came along with that.
Yeah.
And the death of that it saddens me a little bit, and I have
Oh my goodness,
a lot of mixed feelings about the whole thing.
Next thing you know, you're gonna tell us that you had good times when you drank.
I had amazing times when I drank. I just had more times that were damaging to my relationships and to my health.
But what I'm getting at is
100%, man.
It's not black and white. There's plenty of middle ground. Plenty of points in time in my life where I look back on drinking and a lot of the stuff that I said and did, and the people I was with, and the camaraderie that I felt.
Yep.
And how close I still am to a lot of those same people, even though I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of it toxic, probably. I mean, some of it was probably like pretty much hazing. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that I was probably doing it too, but a lot of it was acceptance into a group or being part of a culture. And well, I don't regret any of that. But I do see where that line, I could definitely see where that line could be crossed, where you go from that camaraderie, that fun, that adoption or whatever you want to call it, into that next very negative phase of it, where things are pushed beyond just that. Where things are, you have somebody who's, and I've seen this as quote unquote hazing. You see somebody who's just clearly way too drunk, and there's somebody still telling them to continue to drink, and it's like, this person's got alcohol poisoning, or they will.
Yeah.
Why are you still pushing this?
Because it's fucking fun, man.
Don't be a pussy. You want to be tough. You gotta tough it up. Blah blah. Yeah, just that kind of stuff is bad. But yeah, it's a interesting topic. I think it's a bit more complex that we can get into tonight, though.
In a 15 to 20 to 30 minute segment, I think we could literally dedicate an entire, We'd
Yeah.
probably dedicate like a season to it or something. But yeah, I agree. Steve, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, you guys just gave both examples of how it happens with within your little groups, right? Kind of almost the peer pressure aspect of it is what you kind of said.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen it in uh relationshipy kind of ways too. There was this girl I knew a long time ago who she didn't view how do, you weren't really a man unless you drank, right? Like so she wouldn't so that was like her thing. Like she wouldn't give you a thought if you weren't that kind of guy.
Huh.
So I think it gets perpetuated in lots of different ways. That even though it was a woman doing it, it's still that like that quote unquote toxic masculinity. It's right. This is what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
And if you're
Yeah.
not a man, then I'm not interested in you. So I saw some people fall into that trap, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is kind of like you said. Both you guys said it's a very very topic like more than 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just so I got the TV on in the background when we talking. I've been flipping the channel here and there, and there's different characters drinking constantly, and we're constantly bombarded with that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I know we've touched on that in media a lot, but I think that goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. Think about that old most interesting man in the world commercial, right? Like
Yeah.
to be an interesting man, you got to drink.
You have well, yeah. And I remember one of the greatest compliments that I ever got was somebody saying that I reminded them of that guy, which was
That's what you want.
That's
what they're selling.
That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the most interesting guy in the room. I still want to be the most interesting guy in the room. I think anybody with kind of a verbose personality kind of wants that. So, I can't think of many more instances where my ego was so incredibly stroked as that, especially since this was back when I was, obese, still drinking, had a terrible, image of myself, was depressed, and it just reinforced, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I'm going to drink a whole fuck ton of it, apparently. So, yeah. Oh. I have, I had kind of the angel and a demon sort of
moment
examples when I was in that phase. Ticky, you said that you just reached out to one of them. So, Jim, who is just fantastic people, Kuno baby. He was always the angel. He was always, trying to guide me towards my better nature. And then Ticky used to work with the other one. And we won't talk about his name, but you know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of too many more diametrically opposed examples. And of course, the one that I always went with was the more fun one, the more charismatic one, which was always the one that, never dealt with emotions in a healthy way, continuously drank to excess, always challenged manhood.
Very toxic masculinity.
Very toxic fucking masculinity, dude. So, yeah. So, yeah. It's a dark place to come from. You got to break that chain, though. You got to get out of the mindset that somebody that doesn't do things the way that you want them to or think that they should because it makes them less of a man or, less of an anything. And taking that to an extreme where they're, potentially uncomfortable or they're outside of what most people would consider the boundaries of healthy engagement in anything. Like, you can drink beer, you can drink scotch, you can get drunk. That's fine. But for some of us, that's a path that leads to, fucking ruin, absolute ruin. And anybody that is going to throw out that peer pressure like that, you're just feeding fire, man. And it's that ain't healthy, baby. That ain't healthy. So, Steve, anything else to share?
No.
Ticky, anything else to share?
No.
Okay, cool. Moving on, then. That was a little heavy lifting. That was a little bit of heavy lifting. But, yeah, moving on. Ticky, you're not playing Hunt right now as much because you have
Not as much, yeah.
a new game.
Yeah, Cinco was kind enough to get me a game for my birthday called Origami 2. It is the sequel to the first one, to Origami. It feels a lot like, if anyone's familiar with the older game, Tenku Z, Stealth Assassins. It's a ninja, like, sneaking game.
Fuck, that goes back a ways, man.
It does, man, but it's cool. It's a very fun game. It also has multiplayer built into it. You can do up to 3 people multiplayer in Origami 2. And the graphics aren't amazing. They are what they are. They're pretty cool as they stand. There are some game mechanics that aren't worked out that I don't like. Some glitchy things here and there, but other than that, it plays pretty smooth. Um, and then there's your character. You do get to continue to build your character, so you get like abilities, and you get to like basically like enhance those abilities as you go. Different things. I'm not even like halfway through the ability tree at this point, and I'm guessing still a lot of game left to play. Um, but it's a very it's fun. It's addictive. It's nice to not be in that hunt stressful mindset that like you're like everything's coming up bases for me, and like all of a sudden pow, you're like, well, that was the top of my head blown off.
Yeah.
And I didn't even see the guy who did it. I have no idea how that even happened.
It's like the natural game state for Hunt is one of stress,
Yep.
and then either the completion and shitty feelings around that stress being realized, or the momentary relief of having actually won a game and then going right back into that stress situation. Yeah.
It's pretty nice to be able to, like, you pace yourself and play the game at the rate that you want. Cinco bought it, so he and I hopped in and played together, which was kind of a neat experience. At one point in time, I was just watching, like, I was like hiding up on like this roof, watching him like murder a whole bunch of guards. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I thought
those
we were going to
guards
be a
had
little bit
families,
quieter.
man. Jesus.
Yeah, we don't know anything about them.
I think
The
they
other
were
thing
on
they
Death
did,
Star.
the developers did do with this game, yeah, like on the Death Star.
Fucking Death Star. Yeah.
They did do with the game though is they're like here's how you do combat, and I'm like, okay, combat's not that difficult, but the moment you get into combat with pretty much anyone, it draws in so many more guards, and things just go downhill so fast. It's like 3 hits from any guard and you're dead. Some of them throw fireballs at you. They have magic and shit, and yeah, it's just really frustrating. Where it's like, like you only have so much stamina, so I can block like 3 shots, and then everybody beats me down. All the guards like just carve me up. So there's a definitely a mechanic in the game, a mechanism in the game that drives you towards being stealthy. It's like, yeah, you really don't want to get involved in too many combat situations.
Oh, sure,
if you can
yeah.
avoid it. But it's fun. The graphics, like I said, the graphics aren't anything to write home about.
Well, they're kind of a cell shaded sort of look, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's not, yeah, like I said, it's not cutting nothing. I don't believe anything about the game is really super cutting edge, but I think I'm like 20 hours into it. I don't even know why. Like, I'm just really, really invested in this game.
I mean, that's
But
great.
It's a way to burn like 45 minutes just doing one mission if you're going to be like super sneaky about it.
Well, so is it a meaningful pursuit? Do you look forward to playing through the entirety of the game, or is it just something to do that isn't Hunt?
It's kind of I guess I kind of look forward to the game. I like the idea of improving my character,
Mhm.
and getting new gear, things like that. But ultimately, it's really just a nice distraction.
Gotcha.
I can go back and play the previous missions. I can keep moving forward in the storyline. I just did a story where they were like, "Well, you can't kill anyone," and I'm like, "Well, this is gonna take all night." So it can be very fun in that sense. But yeah, to me, it's a bit of it's a very welcome distraction.
Gotcha. That's cool. Honestly, when you were talking about the gameplay loop, it sounded a lot like Styx Master of Shadows, which was a game that I really enjoyed, where you play kind of a foul-mouthed, gross goblin thief kind of a character. That same thing. Combat is brutally difficult and definitely not rewarded. Like, you're rewarded for methodically moving through the levels, getting all of the achievables, being stealthy. You still have opportunities for doing murders on people, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's to that point. It's a lot like that. It's fun though. It is a very welcome distraction.
It's a good genre.
I want to get more into the multiplayer with some other friends
Mm-hmm.
and see how that goes. It's the most frustrating thing about it right now is there's no way to tag any bad guys. So
you can't mark them.
So I can't mark them. So I'm trying to tell
Gotcha.
Seagal, and I'm like, go over there and take out that guard. And he's like, which one? And I'm like, yeah, that's a fair point. There are like 5 of them on that.
You don't name them? I would name them. Gerald. Take out Gerald. Which one's fucking Gerald?
Clearly, you don't care enough if you don't even remember their names.
It's like, don't you have dossiers on all these guys? I got dossiers on like all these dudes, man. Dude, read the dossier.
You didn't do any of your homework.
To which you shout, you read it.
Yeah. So no, it's good. It's like I said, it's a good distraction from Hunt and the stressors of Hunt.
Nice. Steve, you've been diving back into Magic. Some new sets. So is that what I'm hearing? So
they had their recent expansion just came out a couple weeks ago.
Is this the 40K one or the Dominaria Unlimited one?
This is the Dominaria one.
Okay.
And this is the first set I've actually been excited for in quite some time.
You didn't like Medieval Gangsters?
I wouldn't mind medieval gangsters.
Sorry, not medieval.
Were just like 1920s
Magic Chicago gangsters.
Yeah.
By the way, that sounds like it would be a lot of fun for a not Magic the Gathering like role playing game, like Al Capone, but he's a wizard. That'd be kind of cool. I could be on board with that.
That's the World of Cast a Deadly Spell, starring Fred Ward.
All right.
I did not know. Wow.
Fred Ward, it's a really fun movie. Fred Ward plays a detective named Howard Phillips Lovecraft, who's in L.A.
God.
And it's really on the nose.
Yeah.
But there's one of my favorite scenes in that movie is when the one guy is like walking by his car, and it's got all these little like monsters in it. These little like fur balls look like giant gerbils or something like that, or giant hamsters. And the guy is like complaining up a storm about the war, and he's like, "No, only thing we ever brought back from Europe, other than the clap, was these damn gremlins, and they get into everything, and the gremlins are in the car like taking things apart." And I was like, "That's so clever. That's so well done." But it's a good movie. It's it's one of my favorites. It's a nice cult classic. Burt Ward, Cast a Deadly Spell. Yeah.
Don't know that I'm aware of that movie.
You should watch that. It is an actual good movie. So there. I have bestowed
I don't know that I can
upon
trust you. I don't know if I can trust you at all.
I have recommended good movies.
His taste might be skewed.
Yeah,
they are
might
good.
At this stage be completely skewed.
No. I watched Cast a Deadly Spell a long time ago. Russ would recommend it too.
Okay, all right. Cheers.
But yeah, it's the first set that I'm excited for, and like I said, several different sets.
Yeah.
It beats weird anime ninja set, 1920s gangster set, Harry Potter set. What else did we do?
There was the fairy tale set that I didn't like.
I didn't mind the fairy tale because that's adjacent enough. It's just like the original Kamigawa, the Neon Ninja set. When that first came out, when it was just regular ninjas and samurai and stuff,
like
that was really cool. I enjoyed that. I don't like that we had to put mecha in it. Actually, what's and now they're coming out with a Warhammer set.
Warhammer 40K set.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's some people out there who are super excited for it. The thing that frustrates me is aesthetically, I don't like it from a technical ass point.
From an ass point.
From a technical ass point.
Sometimes I like to ass point at things.
I really enjoy the cards, the mechanics on them.
Yeah.
Some of the legendary creatures from the Warhammer set sound freaking awesome from the previews I've gotten. But I don't want it. I don't want it in my Magic. I don't want it with my elves.
Yeah. I thought to myself that I was going to buy this, but with my kind of exodus from actually wanting to play Magic at all, I just don't see myself spending any more money on cards like that, especially not if they're gonna not be a part of the, sort of overarching story and the aesthetic that, like,
Yeah.
because I like the aesthetic. It's a high fantasy aesthetic. It's fun. It's like
When
I
it's
actually
high
just
fantasy.
bought I just bought a book for. So one of the things that I like to do, I like to paint miniatures, right? I like having art to draw upon for inspiration. I actually just bought the War of the Spark art book. It was really pretty inexpensive on Amazon. So I have this gigantic, 250 page book of just the art on the cards. And one of the things that I think is really cool about Magic is the art is beautiful. It's really, really well done for the most part. Even the stuff, even the sets that I don't like if I were to pick out Warhammer 40k imagery that I wanted to look at, it's probably on those cards. A lot of it is. From what I've seen, I've really enjoyed it. But yeah. So yeah, I get it, man. So tell me about Dominaria, the new Dominaria set.
Well, it's just they're finally going back to a setting. They call them planes, different planes in that game. They're finally going back to a setting that was, for a very very long time, the main setting of Magic the Gathering. One of their longest running stories always took place on Dominaria. So it's really kind of cool to be going back there. Like I said, the characters. Well, those characters from those original sets are long dead. There's legacy versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, it's like I said, it's an aesthetic I like. It's back to the regular wizards and stuff like that, and they've brought back the old big bad. It's the Phyrexians, which are kind of, for the for the Star Trek nerds, they're kind of like the Borg. They're just they're machines, cyborgy things that try to kill everything and make everything them. Yeah, so like I said, I'm just excited to be getting back to this. Though, it's, as far as the story goes in the lore coming up, I think they're going to be uh, mucking with the timeline and stuff like that, and that kind of annoys me.
Stop mucking with timelines.
Stop doing
It's
it.
lazy.
It is lazy. Like,
move forward, you donkeys. Yeah, it's completely lazy. Anytime they're like, oh, we're gonna go back into the past, man. No, don't do that. Don't do
and
that.
that sounds
right?
like where we're headed, and to the point where I think they're doing it so they can bring back characters that they've killed off.
Yeah.
But here we are. I'm still playing the game.
Do you think that you suffer a little bit from sunken cost fallacy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a lot. So, like, and I kind of touched on it briefly there, right? So part of my problem, part of my investment in this is the stupid lore, is the story. I enjoy that part of the game. And I've read this far. I gotta keep going.
Yeah, gotta keep going, buddy. You
I
put time, effort, energy, and money into this.
Exactly.
Gotta keep going. Can't stop now.
So yeah, part of it is just habit. It's what I do.
Sure.
But don't get me wrong. Like at its core, I enjoy the game, right? Like I enjoy playing it. I don't have as much time as I used to actually play the game. But
yeah, it's weird how families do that to you.
I mean, they're a time sink.
Yeah. Fucking. There's your sunken cost fallacy.
But yeah, take my money.
Take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. I'm recently I bought a 2-player starter pack for a game called Infinity by a company called Corvus Belli about I want to say like 2.5-3 years ago. So it's been a while. I think it was a drunk purchase. It was so long ago. Yeah, I think that's right. Maybe 3.5 years ago. Yeah. And I'm just now putting them together. I didn't know anything about like the lore or the world or even the game systems. I just thought that the miniatures look cool because they have a very they're an anime inspired aesthetic. So a lot of high tech, a lot of mecha, a lot of, the helmets with like the 4 ocular ports, that kind of thing. A lot of antenna, wacky looking sci-fi guns, wacky looking sci-fi creatures and characters. And I got onto a Discord server for it just recently and learned that there's a guy that lived in Seattle who just moved here with his family 3 months ago, who plays that game and is really, really interested in like getting out, meeting people. And we've been talking on Discord for a little while and it's been great. So I put together a bunch of those models and now I'm looking into the world and the lore, and I'm finding myself more and more fascinated with it because it's like cyberpunk meets Star Trek, and I'm 100% on board with it. It's this kind of weird post-scarcity universe where the technology has advanced to such a high degree that like people's personal like basic needs have been met, but there's still these interfactional struggles, and there's planetary conquest stuff, and there's aliens from outside of the human sphere of influence that are hostile, and like it all comes off of this base assumption that starts from where we are at currently, like sociopolitically, and then tries to move forward through that. So like it asks a lot of what if kind of questions in a sci-fi setting kind of way, and they're all sort of, well, what happens when the energy crisis finally gets to a tipping point? What happens to the Middle East? And what happens to the United States and Russia moving forward? Like if they have a gigantic financial problem, what happens to those two sort of empires? What happens with China? What happens with the South Pacific? It's pretty freaking fascinating. There's a lot of really kind of cool moving parts to the lore that I'm getting into and I'm digging, and because of Cyberpunk, the Edge Runners show on Netflix, having watched that, and then reloading Cyberpunk 2077 on my computer, I'm feeling really into this like high tech cyberpunky kind of space in terms of where my gaming focus is kind of at right now. So the models are beautiful. I've already painted one of them up, and I did him all in oils, and he looks fantastic so far. I'm really happy with him. I've got the other models in the set that I'm gonna get finished building and getting painted, and then look forward to getting out and trying to get a new game system under my belt, and maybe a new friend living right here in Erie that just moved here 3 months ago and seems like he's a pretty cool guy. So yeah, fun stuff. Yeah, Steve, you got anything else that you'd like to share for gaming tonight?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right. Ticky, you got anything else you'd like to share for gaming tonight?
Nope.
Cool. All right. Well, like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we'd like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to it in your times of need. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, SOS, sobriety.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. And for those family and friends of addicts that need a little help in a group-type environment, there's Al-Anon family groups. They can be reached at www.al-anon.alateen.org or 1-888-425-2666. From all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, I'm Will.
I'm Ticky.
I'm Steve.
And we wish you warm, creamy regards. Come find us on Twitch. Come find us on Twitter. Come find us on Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how good or bad we're doing so that we can have content for the corrections show. which we'd like to do sometime soon. Good night, everybody.
Gonna haunt you naked.
Always with the naked hauntings.
Stands to reason.
Naked with a bowler hat.
I just did. God,
Well, that depends on where you wear the bowler hat. Then,
just
doesn't
flinging that thing around, ectoplasm going everywhere.
No, man, it's like if I was a ghost, that'd be like the hat stand, like right in the crotch.
Yeah.
Just like hat just hangs there, just like walking around with like my hands way out. Ooh.
Could we ring toss with your ghost penis?
Yeah, that'd be the idea behind it.
That'd be the idea. Nice.
Although, why as a ghost would I have a penis?
Why wouldn't you?
Fuck, that's a good psy-op. Good night.
You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SvP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.